Let's start with the Cleveland Browns sweeping their 4 categories in the NFL honors last night. Myles Garrett, your 2023 Defensive Player of the Year. Kevin Stefanski is now a 2-time Coach of the Year. Jim Schwartz, the Assistant Coach of the Year. And Joe Flacco beat out Damar Hamlin for the Comeback Player of the Year award. Yesterday in overtime, I asked the guys, over under 1.5 award winners for the Browns. Jason and Bull both took the over. Obviously 4 for 4 hits, so how surprised are you that the Browns pulled off the clean sweep in the NFL awards?
I mean, I'm only surprised because I didn't think Flacco would win.
I have too.
I mean, the assistant coach of the year, I didn't have any feel for that. So, but you thought he had a good chance. I assumed Stefanski and Myles Garrett were going to win at this point, but I was stunned that Joe Flacco won because I thought people, as a lot of people did, would vote for Damar Hamlin. We've talked about this. I think voting for Damar Hamlin is ridiculous. And it's no offense to him.
So did 6 or 7 other voters.
Right. I mean, listen, we understand. Give him an award for something else. But he didn't come back because he didn't play. He came back from death. I get it. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's his biggest comeback you can make.
Yes, but he didn't play.
Yeah.
But even without Damar Hamlin, I would have assumed that both Baker and Stafford would have finished ahead of Flacco, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, his story was so remarkable. I think the fact that he was just out of the game completely. It's not like he was injured last year and came back. The guy spent 2/3 of the season watching from his living room. The reason I think they got this right, ultimately, I think they missed an opportunity to do a big emotional 5-minute award feature, and at the end of it announce that each year from this day forward there will be a Damar Hamlin Courage Award winner.
Right.
I think the league missed a huge opportunity.
I like that.
And this is a league that, from a marketing standpoint, misses very little.
Yeah, that's true.
But I just felt like the crowd wanted desperately to give him the standing ovation that he deserves.
Sure, yeah.
And I felt badly that he never got that opportunity.
Yeah, that was weird.
They did, you saw a little brief snippet, but the emotion of a player dying on the field, that's what is in the back of every player's mind. That can happen.
Yeah.
And so I thought they missed that opportunity. But I think at the end they got it right. The award is Comeback Player of the Year. And obviously there was a comeback involved for Joe. He was certainly a player. The same can be said for all the other guys on the list. They came back from things last year, either injuries or, in Baker's case, being dealt like a banana peel all over the league. So I was glad that Flacco won. I just think they missed an opportunity to honor Damar Hamlin forever moving forward.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Seeing that it's political season now. I'm all over into politics, and people think that's a nasty little word. Politics to me is just likability. And when you look at this story and the way things set up with narratives, and you listen, Joe Flacco could have been Ron DeSantis' campaign manager. He should have been like, this is the way you do it. Guys like you. When they like you, you could put up some numbers, and it's all about the narrative and the feel-good story. If you look at Joe Flacco, he came back from sitting at home and came and just dropped dimes. And this year, the Browns went from a team that a lot of people didn't like in the preseason to all of a sudden a very likable team. We were arguing back and forth with the national media about, people were saying, from Brady Quinn to guys on the NFL Network, people saying the Browns just aren't a likable team because Deshaun Watson was the quarterback. Deshaun Watson goes down, the Browns still have a great defense, and now you put in Joe Flacco, who is a guy who has a completely different image than Deshaun Watson and is playing well. So now that looks like, wow, this guy really came out of nowhere. Then you have to take into consideration and say, okay, well, Stefanski was already going to be a Coach of the Year candidate, but you mix him and Flacco together, I knew those two were going to win off top. Now, Myles Garrett, I thought that was going to be a little shaky because of the way the season ended. And whether we like it or not, we put a lot of pressure on Myles Garrett for the entire defense. If defense plays well, so he gets the credit. He's so popular, he's almost like a quarterback. If the defense plays well, he's going to get the credit. If they don't, he's not. And I think that Myles Garrett is the beneficiary of that type feeling. The Browns' defense was great. throughout the regular season. So as a quarterback, you're going to get that credit for that, especially the way they looked last year. So I thought he was going to win it. And then finally, it just goes in tandems. If Myles Garrett is the defensive player of the year, and you look at what the Browns did under Joe Woods, who's the coach that got Myles Garrett in the defense look great now this year? Yeah. It's Jim Schwartz. So I didn't know they would sweep it, but I thought each of them had a really, really, really good opportunity to win it, and I'm happy for them.
If you look at what was interesting, and here comes one of my aforementioned out-of-pocket people. If you look at the response to the Defensive Player of the Year from both the guys who finished second and third, we have both of those tweets, right, Mike?
Yeah, this is first from TJ Watt.
Yeah,
so
this
let's
is
show
TJ Watt.
Now, which, by the way, the award show did not start till 9 p.m.
Right.
This tweet came out at 8:12 p.m. So TJ was clearly tipped off by his agent. He tweeted at 8:12 p.m. Nothing I'm not used to, which sparked a lot of online debate.
Right.
After the award was announced, Myles announced the winner. Micah Parsons came in third. Micah Parsons tweeted this out.
Now hold on, Mike. I think we got to set it up a little.
I was going to say, he's responding to a Steelers fan who put the numbers, the pure numbers of Myles next to TJ Watt, saying TJ got robbed, to which Micah quote tweeted and said, "Horrible take. Myles was the better player. Reality of the situation. Myles faced way more double teams and effect on QBs. Fans, please stop looking at stats and look at the film, please."
Love that.
Yeah, I mean, if Micah Parsons is saying Myles Garrett should win, I'm going to go with him on that. As he seems to
I think it showed great class from Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
The disappointing thing to me was, and I don't know, I don't look at Twitter, I didn't see his feed. Did TJ Watt afterwards at least congratulate Myles Garrett?
I don't think so.
Okay, so number one, he did a huge disservice to the NFL, to Myles Garrett stealing his moment, and to the fans. You killed the drama.
Yeah.
The second that tweet went out and NFL fans saw it, they knew exactly what it meant.
Right.
I'm really, not only am I disappointed, I'm surprised. I didn't know TJ Watt was that guy.
That was a classless thing to do.
But when people tell you who they are, listen. And that was a classless move.
Yeah.
And I get it. If you just looked at those numbers, you would say, oh, well, yeah. I mean, he wins on every metric. But I love Micah Parsons' tweet, because we've learned at certain positions, it is not only is it not about the numbers, you almost have to just weigh the numbers with a grain of salt. It is the film. It is the double takes. It is the effect on quarterbacks. Look, I thought TJ had a great year, and I thought the voters got it right. It was very close.
Yeah.
But for him to air his sour grapes and to spoil the award before it was announced, bad job on TJ Watt.
Has he won a Defensive Player of the Year award?
He has.
Sometimes, listen, awards are funny, man. Like, if you want to see adults act bad, just put a name on a trophy and say the winner gets this trophy. You'll see people go crazy. I see people fighting bowling leagues. Like, you'll be like, dang, you wanted that trophy. But I will say this, man. When you look at the awards, and I think Myles Garrett winning this award, I think this will do something to him. Like, now that he's won it, I think that he'll start to think about other things.
Man, I thought the same thing last night. I said now he can move his preseason focus, saying, I want to be Defensive Player of the Year. Now, and I think he even alluded to this at the end of his speech, now we can think about team-oriented awards.
Yeah.
Not that he wasn't before, but I didn't like that he talked about individual awards before the seain.
Because, I can understand why he did so, because the Browns, if you were on the Browns teams during the time that he's been here, the only thing you could look forward to was individual awards.
That's true.
It wasn't like you were going to play. So recently, they've had some pretty good teams. My hope is, and I know he'll do it, because if you go watching how he takes care of his body, is world renowned. I want to see him go in and talk to his people and say, okay, how can I hit my peak in November? How can I hit my physicality? How can I stay healthy?
Forget that, December. I want him at his best when the playoffs roll around.
I want to get better as the season goes along, and I think he'll put his body through some different training to get there.
Can you do that? Like it's more like training for a marathon than a sprint.
Yeah, it is, and he has the connections. I know a couple people that look like that. LeBron James is one. LeBron James is able to give you in the playoffs LeBron can still give you turn back the tables and turn back the time and give you 30 and 8 and 9 and still carry a team 40 minutes.
Is that because of how he takes care of his body?
Because of the way he goes about it. Like, Tom Brady is another one. Tom Brady ain't had sugar since 1972 or something crazy. That's crazy. You know how hard that is?
That's the final hill to climb for Myles Garrett, is to be as great at the end of the year as he is for the rest of the year. That's it.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I love that he said this. He took a line from LeBron, Cleveland, this one's for you.
That's right.
Obviously, that's not the trophy Cleveland wants. Cleveland
Definitely
wants
not.
the Lombardi trophy.
Right.
And he did make mention that bigger things to come, or whatever his last line was, before I walked up. By the way, 2 things on the dress. Number 1, Myles Garrett killed it with the white suit and white shoes.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He gets my award for best dressed of the night. Can we put the shot of Jim Schwartz back up? I hate to delineate by color, but Jim Schwartz, clearly the best dressed white dude in the building.
Really? I don't even remember what he looked like.
He's got a real sense of style, guys.
Hey,
He's got the check blue and black blazer
salt and pepper.
with the perfect pocket square. That jacket was cut by 2 tailors. It fits so perfectly.
He got the glasses on.
He's GQ, man.
He be
He's
doing
looking
it up,
sharp.
man. Did Stefanski come in the flannel? What did Stefanski had on?
He was in his
Stefanski
pajamas.
did not show up.
He didn't show up.
Yeah, that's
And how about the actor? I can't think of his name. Steven
Steven,
Stefanski?
which it turns out he has a cousin named Steven, ironically. Steven Stefanski does exist, and he joked about that. But both
What?
had-
He's not the
Yes.
coach of the year. Yeah, he
But-
was not there.
But speaking of Coach of the Year, can you first, before you put up that tweet I sent you, Mike, can you first put up the voting totals for the Coach of the Year?
Steve take 154.
Oh, yeah, those were
full.
interesting.
So it was very close, right? In fact, D'Amico Ryans did. They tied in points, right? They both got exactly.
Exactly
Stefanski had more
165.
first
Stefanski had more first place votes.
Stefanski had 21 first place votes. D'Amico Ryans had 20. It was literally 1 first place vote
Wow,
that gave Stefanski the
man.
edge.
And I think we all agreed at the end of the year that it really was a toss-up between the 2 guys.
I was surprised Campbell was such a distant third.
only
Yeah, I do
because the
too.
Lions had higher expectations, right?
I guess.
That's just what
But
this
hell,
is all
I had
about.
high hopes for the Browns, too.
Right.
I mean, I honestly thought that this, and Jimmy did too. Jimmy Donovan did a piece yesterday. He thought Stefanski should be, but he thought that Ryans would be.
Right.
And so did I.
But ultimately, it's not the best coach. It's the best coach with team without expectations.
I think it's the,
Andy
it's
Reid's
the guy
the best
that
coach.
did the best coaching job
Yeah.
with the talent he had and the circumstances he had. And I think in Stefanski, it was clearly the circumstances. If you would have in a vacuum said before the season the Browns are going to go 11-6 and Stefanski's going to get the coach of the year, you would have said, why?
Yeah, well,
but because of the circumstances,
it all factors in. But clearly, it was at the very least a very debatable thing between him and D'Amico Ryans.
I agree.
Which leads me to our next person that's out of pocket, and that's my friend Mark Schwab. He put up this tweet this morning. The Texans won games with one of the greatest passing seasons ever by a rookie. The Browns had to beat the Niners and others with P.J. Walker, DTR, and the corpse of Joe Flacco. But yeah, Stefanski was just. Have we gotten to the point where we're now going to complain about a close win? Come on, Schwabi.
I know.
Schwabi. You can't. That's unfair. No, even with the injuries, the Texans were supposed to be the worst team in the league.
Facts.
And yes, C.J. Stroud did a great job, but he was a rookie. And the coaching staff, and I know the head coach is a defensive guy, but the coaching staff has to be given credit for not only the quarterback playing great, the whole team played great. A team that nobody thought was any good.
Again, I'll throw out this. The reason why Stefanski is coach of the year is because of where the Browns started. We talked about during the beginning of the year, everyone hated the Browns. Nobody liked the Browns. Nobody wanted to even say the Browns' names. Right?
But they did have expectations.
They had
Yes.
had some expectations, but those expectations were people rooting against the Browns doing anything.
Right, but people in the beginning of the year,
There were teams that had the Browns picked to win the division.
right. Whereas
Houston was
the Texans were picked to win 4 games.
That's right.
You know.
So then you got to take a look at this. Then on national TV, one of the most beloved players in the league gets hurt for the rest of the season.
Right.
So when you get dealt with that blow, it's like, whoa. And then your quarterback, who had not been stellar up to that point, he plays against the Ravens. You think they turn in a corner. Here we go. He's out for the year.
Listen, we know all the reasons Stefanski won. I was saying all year I thought Stefanski should win.
Yeah.
It's just to say that D'Amico Ryans didn't have also a very compelling case is definitely unfair.
He had a nice year. He had
When
a
you
definitely nice
consider,
year.
one of the things that was kind of hard for me last night watching was to watch the Texans, with some of our draft capital, win the offensive rookie of the year and the defensive rookie of the year.
Right.
Their coach was in the running for coach of the year. I don't know if C.J. Stroud got MVP votes. He was mentioned as a long shot. I don't think he got any votes that I saw.
Lamar Jackson got 49 of 50 first place votes.
And I thought that was appropriate. I thought they slam dunk got that right. But it was funny, too. I thought yesterday when Jim did his piece on who was going to win, I thought I wouldn't be surprised if the Browns won all 4. I won't be surprised if they don't win any of them. I don't think anybody was a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Like, for me, the MVP was a fait accompli.
Yeah.
I had no doubt Lamar was and should win it running away.
Yeah.
But I didn't really feel as strongly on any of the 4. I thought because of the way Myles Garrett finished the season and because of the season that Houston had, our 2 favorites could end up on the outside looking in. And the other 2 guys that won, I think, not that Schwartz was a long shot, but I thought Flacco was an extreme long shot.
Yeah. I actually yesterday said I thought Ben Johnson, the Lions OC, was going to win that award. And he was one of the finalists, too.
C.J. Stroud had 4 fifth-place votes, just a heads up.
So he did get some MVP.
Where did Tank Dell finish? Where did he finish in Offensive Rookie of the Year?
He got injured like week 12, was it?
He probably would have finished third if he hadn't gotten hurt.
He would have definitely received votes.
Stroud and
Tank
Puka.
Dell did not get a single vote.
Yeah, I think it's because he missed the last third of the season.
He was having a great season,
though. He had a great season, but it just hurt me to watch a team that's holding on a lot of our draft capital.
Yeah, sure.
Really do very, very well last night.
Is there a dichotomy between the way that the league saw you with all these awards and then the way that the front office looks at what they have? Because it seems like as if, right?
I see what you're saying.
It seems
the whole offensive coaching staff.
It seems as if they are not as impressed with what they did last year as what some of the journalists and media members are, because they obviously swept the awards.
Well, that's an indictment on Jimmy Haslam.
So
in my opinion.
I agree with that, Bull. I think you're right.
Yes, it looks to us. Now, we'll see if Kevin Stefanski gets an extension here coming up. But right now it feels like, I think you're right, it feels like the league respects Kevin Stefanski more than his owner does.
Yeah, by the way, on the how do you take the play calling away from the coach of the year? It's still to be determined who's going to call plays. Now, I want to say something because I think as a group we believe that this is done, right? That
I do.
Kevin Stefanski won't call plays next year. Jimmy Donovan, who's very close with Kevin Stefanski, is insistent that Kevin Stefanski is going to call plays next year.
Okay, I hope he's right.
And I hope Jimmy is he's got a good pipeline. So I think that tells me that Kevin is likely telling Jimmy, or Jimmy's hearing it from someone, that no, they're not going to take that away. Now, it will be harder for them to take it away based on what happened last night.
I think so.
How do you strip from the coach of the year play calling duties?
The only way you do it is is that Stefanski's going to have to say publicly it was his decision.
There's
whether we believe it or not is
but
up
I
to
don't
us.
know that he will, because that's not a sword he wants to fall on.
Probably not, but I don't know.
There is that's why I was so shocked when you say there's a reason you don't show up for the awards, right? It's a silent protest. Hey, listen, I'm not going up there getting no award. I'm over here talking with Dorsey right now to figure out what we're going to run next year.
He doesn't even have an extension.
He ain't got no extension. So why I'm not going to show up to get patted on the back and get embarrassed.
Was he the only one that wasn't there?
No. The very I
don't know who else wasn't
Micah
there.
Parsons accepted for CeeDee Lamb.
Yes, that's what it was.
So the play of the year or something.
Yeah, it was the moment of the year. And by the way, I thought that was sweet.
That's
3 plays they picked. I thought Myles Garrett blocking the field goal would be a moment of the year. How many times did you see that?
That was a citizenship award, play of the year.
And I just thought the plays they picked, the one that won was the Dak 96-yard touchdown completion to CeeDee Lamb. I mean, it was okay, but it was clearly a defensive breakdown.
Yeah, he's wide open, bro.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, so I thought it was. I think it was very odd. If you're
so you think a silent protest is why he wasn't there?
Yeah, why would you like that's the pinnacle of besides winning the championship, right? That's like saying, I don't know, like you winning an Oscar or something, and you decide I'm not going to show up.
Yeah, I thought it was odd that he wasn't there. By the way, it gives him 2 and 4 years.
I don't know how many
13th
people done that.
It's been done a
13th
handful
coach
of
ever.
times, but
How,
Could
was
be a
that?
two-time, 13 coaches now, including Kevin Stefanski.
Okay,
have won
13
times. Have
times.
won Coach of the Year 2 times. We're gonna move on.
was
Is
it two, but not 2 in a 4-year
Is
span?
Kevin
was it?
No, it's
Stefanski
Hewitt.
already a Hall of Famer?
No.
2-1-6. No, go ahead.
We're
gotta
gonna bring
win
in our
more than
next
one playoff
guest
game,
here
and technically
in
he's won
1
0.
second. After a quick word from FanDuel, it is Super Bowl season. Super Bowl weekend is now upon us, and FanDuel is helping everybody celebrate if you want, because they are unquestionably America's #1 sportsbook. If you're like us, Super Bowl Sunday is all about scoring the best seats on the couch, grabbing your favorite snacks, and placing some super bets. FanDuel has a ton of different ways to help you end the season with not just one win, but 2, 3, and hopefully even more. Not only can you bet on who will win Super Bowl 58, but FanDuel also has bets for who will score touchdowns, how many points will be scored, and so much more. Right now, new customers who join today get $200 in bonus bets if their first bet of $5 or more wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to sign up. That's FanDuel.com/UCSS. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.